Hello and welcome back to the next stage of our tutorial. So we had got ourselves to this point here, and we just want to continue on and try and create the rest of this model. So back to modeling, I'm going to turn on my two empties and I'm going to go into edit mode, and in this tab here, this viewport display, and I'm going to make this wireframe just so we can see exactly what we're doing. So one of the things we want to do is we want to have a look at our mirror modifier. So just to point out to you, if I move this vertex up and down, I can't move it left and right, and that's because clipping is turned on. So I was going to show you clipping here. I'm going to move this off to the side, and then when I go to object mode, you can see that there is a hole, like a break in the mask or in the face, and that's because we've left a gap here. So when we go back into edit mode, if I leave clipping off, I can move this too far to the left. So what I want to do is turn clipping on and go G, and then this keeps me locked into the center. So with that in mind, I'm going to take this vertex here, and I'm going to try and use my imagination here and sort of bring it back around the back of the head. So I'm just going to press the E key and extrude. Now, I do not have all the information I need here, so I'm having to guess exactly where her head is and her hair isn't. But for now, this is only sort of the first part of this. We'll survive with that. So I'm going to do the same with this, and we're going to try and match the geometry. Now, I want this to be kind of as flat as possible, meaning as close. Otherwise, I'll end up with a head that has kind of a ridge all the way through it. We have a little one already all the way up through the middle of the face. So we're trying to make this kind of flat. So we can repeat this process. And I'll go to there. So now let's see if we can use the B key and select all of these. And so we want to use a tool called Bridge Edge Loop. So let's see if we can find where that is. So it might be under Edge, Bridge Edge Loop, there we go. And Bridge Edge Loop will give us what should give us quads. It hasn't here, and that's because we have so I'm going to undo that. So let's see if I can count my way around here. So I've got 3, these match, these match, these match, they match, they match. Aha. So I'm missing one here. I need to subdivide this. So I'm going to go edge and subdivide, and then do the same here. Edge and subdivide. So because we didn't have the matching amount of vertices in all of these lines, we ended up with triangles rather than quads. So let's do that again. So I'm going to select all of this. So rather than having to select them each vertex individually and hold down the shift key, I'm just going to press B and draw a box around the area I want to select. And I'm going to go edge, bridge edge loop. And now we've got those faces filled in. So I can fill in this one and that one. So let's try and do the same here. So we've got our centermost vertex here, and we will extrude this down twice. Then we want to select this one, and again match, try and match the geometry. And so now we will move this in here, and then down. So let's see what we can fill this one in here. Make a face, and we go edge, bridge, edge loop, and then fill these guys in. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my settings here and go back to solid and see what I've got. So that's not too bad. And so you can see that what we're trying to do is fill in basically the gaps while following our geometry around as best we can. So let's see if we can use this one. So this is not a terribly exciting process, but it will hopefully give us some good results. And oops. So again, the edge loop will work on this so long as we don't select all the way back to the root. So with those selected, I can use the bridge edge loop. When I select these, it's one continuous selection, so it won't work. So edge, bridge edge loop, and then I can fill that face in there. And I'll try and do that once more. Now, keeping in mind I haven't corrected the positional, the position of any of these on this side. So these are basically straight lines that I'm drawing. And this area here is far too big, so there's a lot to do. So to select a line of vertices, you hold down the Alt key and then right click in between two verts, and then the entire line will be selected. So edge, bridge edge loop. Okay, I see. So let's go back to our wireframe here for a second, and we will see that this area in here was selected as well. So I'm going to press C, hold down the middle mouse button, and deselect that, and then go edge, bridge edge loop, and then fill this in here. We can go back to our solid mode. Now I'm just going to turn off my two empties for a second and see what this looks like. So you can see it's far from perfect. And we'll come back and we'll use a tool we haven't used before, which is proportional editing, and we'll move stuff around in a minute or two. So let's just see if we can complete the model first of all in a kind of crude sense, and then we can ponder trying to make it look a bit better. So let's go back to wireframe actually. So from here I'm going to extrude this downwards and then try and follow the neck down here so I can fill that in. I'm trying to do the same with this one. So this needs 1 and 2, so we need to reposition them here. We'll get to move them in as well. And let me continue extruding this from there and into there. So this needs to be the sort of one that's furthest to the right here. So I was going to fill that in. And then we'll fill that in. Now, this is these spaces are too big, so I'm going to go Control or and add in a loop cut here. And I'm going to complete that. Now, there's a lot going on here. This is kind of a complicated area to join up. So one of the easiest things for us to do is to bring this around and then try and fill in the rest. So let's do that, keeping in mind that we still have a good bit of work to do to make this the right shape. So let's extrude. Now I'm extruding to here, but I know I've got an extra one here, so I'll probably end up putting a loop cut through, but let's see if we can match the outer geometry. Okay. Okay, and again we'll go up to our bridge edge loop tool. Now I'm going to subdivide this here and fill this in. Okay, and now the hard work begins. So Control or and a loop cut there, so I can fill that in. And although this is too big, I'm going to fill that in. Okay. So again, let's turn off our empties and just see where we have what we're at. So this is a dreadful looking head at the moment, but we will go in and fix all that. So we can make this look tremendously better. But let's just worry about getting this ear working. So the difficulty with an ear is joining. There's more geometry here than we kind of have around it, so it's trying to make everything match. And there's no exact right or wrong way to do that. So let's see if we can take that there and match that. And then the rest of this is going to be tricky. So we're going to take that and these two here and press F. So we've made a triangle. This is sort of the outer loop of the ear. So again, I want to press C and hold down the middle mouse button. Basically draw on top of that area there. I'm going to deselect them as well. So deselect that one. So I'm going to press E and then escape. So I've extruded them onto themselves. And I'm going to press S and G. So I'm trying to create sort of the back of the ear. So again, I will select these two and then this one place here and press F, and I've got another triangle. And now I'm going to press 1, 2, 3, 4 and press F for face. So I want to try and fill in now from this point of the ear to the side of the head. Now that I've given the ear some definition. Now again, they won't all match, so we may have to be a little creative in how we do this. So we'll do that. And so this part of the head is not going to move a huge amount. So I can afford to go G, move this up a bit, press F, turn that into a face, and then I'm left with a quad here. And again, we'll fix the shape of this in a moment. Let's loop cut here. Yeah, I'll loop cut here, and then that's the simplest way to make that work. Now we're going to end up with too many vertices down here. Well, at the moment we have 13, so we'll have 26 at the moment in the neck, which is not too bad. Now, in the same way that we join things up at the bottom of the ear, so we want to do the same here. So we want to, I'm going to extrude this inwards and make a face out of that, and then I'm going to make a triangle here. I'm going to take this vert here, extrude it inwards, and this is going to match up to that. That leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4 there. I'm going to have another triangle here, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so far from perfect. So I'm going to say shade smooth. I'm going to go back into edit mode, select everything, and I'm going to go faces. No, it's under mesh. So normals, recalculate outside. So it's turned all of the mesh to calculate outside. And now what we've got is a, poorly shaped head. So I'm going to fix that a little bit. So we're going to go back into edit mode and deselect, which is Alt-A, and then have a look at what works and what doesn't work. So obviously this area of the neck needs to be pulled back. So I'm going to use this tool here called proportional editing, and I'm going to select connected. So this, when I press G, at the moment it's moving the whole head. So let's see what's going on there. So you can see a bit this white circle, and this is sort of an area of influence. So G, and I can make the circle bigger or smaller by rolling the middle mouse button. And it will move not just the vertex that I've selected, but all connected vertices, and how much the other ones are affected by the move is determined by the size of this this circle. So it's a very powerful way to move verts proportionately so that you don't get strange results. Now, it is limited in what it can do. It won't fix everything for us. So I'm going to scale these on X a little bit, sort of straighten them up, and then rotate them on Z. So you can see we've got sort of a ripple here, so see if we can fix that a little bit. And then a lot of these issues will be fixed when we start sculpting. So you can see our head is the wrong shape here, so what we need to do is take, well, we're going to select an area here, so I'll press B and select the ear and go G, make the area bigger, move this all in. Okay, and we need more definition here. Now you can see at this stage we've sort of abandoned the reference image. We are using our eye and our understanding of anatomy, as limited as it is, to get a better result. So I'm going to move the back of this ear in a bit. Okay. So, so far from perfect, but not bad as a starting point. So we'll just turn back on our reference images and see. Maybe we'll go back to our wireframe mode. So you can see we've kind of shifted off the reference image quite a bit in this front view here. Okay, so I'm just going to save this, and while it's not a perfect rendition of a face, it's a good starting point from which we'll build on. And in the next video, we're not going to fix this, although there's lots to be done here. We're going to move on to kind of making a very simplistic, a very simple body, and then we'll come back and sculpt the whole thing.